What's up, viewers? Welcome to Thrill Kingdom Coasters and the first installment of my voiceover series. My name is Joel, and I wanted to start off the series by sharing a little bit about myself, and what better way to do that on a roller coaster channel than to share my top 10 roller coasters. I would like to go ahead and clarify that I've only ridden 56 roller coasters, so my top 10 list will seem a little unusual to others with higher counts. However, I plan to grow that count in the future, and I know for a fact that I will be visiting at least one new park this summer. Before I start, please do me a favor and click the subscribe button down below. If you do, it does something really cool and turns from red to white. Go ahead and try it. Alright, let's jump into my top 10. First up is Cornball Express, a Custom Coasters International, or CCI, wooden coaster. You can find this roller coaster at a small lakeside theme park called Indiana Beach in Monticello, Indiana. Cornball Express stands at a height of 55 feet, reaches a top speed of 45 miles per hour, and has 2,100 feet of wooden track. If you love sustained ejector airtime with minimalistic restraints, then Cornball Express is the wooden coaster for you. Cornball Express looks pretty unimpressive on paper, but it is one of the most underrated and pure fun wooden coasters on the planet. This ride has the PTC buzz bar restraint, which is a restraint that sits about 6 inches above your lap. Especially if you are sitting in the back row, this ride has some crazy intense and sustained ejector airtime of most of the hills and drops. The drop is one of my favorites of all time because it has a crazy mix of sustained ejector and laterals all the way down. This ride also has an unbanked helix in the middle of the ride, which delivers a good dose of laterals. This ride is also extremely smooth for its age. The only jarring part is the valley after the first drop, where it does rock you around a little bit. Overall, Cornball Express is a wooden coaster that I couldn't recommend more, and it's worth the 2.5 hour drive to Monticello alone. Number 9 is going to be Mystic Timbers at Kings Island. Mystic Timbers is an out and back wooden roller coaster built by Great Coasters International, or GCI. You can find this coaster at Kings Island in Mason, Ohio. Mystic Timbers stands at a height of 109 feet, reaches a top speed of 53 miles per hour, and traverses 3,265 feet of wooden track. If you are an enthusiast, you would probably know this ride for its crazy layout chock full of aggressive airtime hills and laterals. Many enthusiasts seem to agree that this is the best GCI ever built, and right now I have to agree because it's the only coaster that I've ridden that is built by GCI. However, if you are a non-enthusiast and somehow stumbled on this video, then you probably know Mystic Timbers for the infamous shed. I love Mystic Timbers because of the almost perfect mix of airtime and laterals, and I also love it because of its clever terrain usage and its setting. The shed is also a quirky little part of the ride, and it's better than just sitting in the brake run. Overall, Mystic Timbers is a really balanced wooden coaster, and I'm always going to have a soft spot for it because it is one of the first big roller coasters that I've ever ridden. At the number 8 spot is New Texas Giant, a hybrid roller coaster built by Rocky Mountain Construction, or RMC. New Texas Giant is the first roller coaster ever manufactured by RMC, and they knocked it out of the park. New Texas Giant was originally a massive din wooden coaster named Texas Giant, and it got unbearably rough. The park then took a risk and hired RMC, and New Texas Giant and the iBox track were born. You can find New Texas Giant at Six Flags Over Texas in Fort Worth, Texas. New Texas Giant has a max height of 153 feet, a top speed of 65 miles per hour, and a length of 4,200 feet. While I may not be a huge fan of the park, I am a big fan of this roller coaster. While this is nowhere near as intense or whippy as other RMC coasters, it is still a pure fun ride with a great ejector airtime throughout. If I had the ability, I would marathon this ride all day. While I believe this will remain near the bottom of my RMC rankings as this list continues to grow, I will still always enjoy this coaster. At the number 7 spot is Magnum XL-200, a hypercoaster built by Aerodynamics. Magnum XL-200 is an absolute classic and is a roller coaster legend because it is actually the first ever hypercoaster, which is a roller coaster to reach a height between 200 and 299 feet. You can find Magnum at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. Magnum has a max height of 205 feet, a top speed of 72 miles per hour, and a length of 5,106 feet. Magnum may be old and outdated, but this ride has a great feel to it, and it's one of the most aggressive coasters on Earth. If you love aggressive ejector airtime that will crush your thighs and bruise them, then this ride is for you. I, for one, love this ride's aggressive airtime, especially on the return hills that have a sketchy triangular shape to them. This ride is most definitely not smooth, but I think that if it were smooth, that it would be nowhere near as good. The roughness adds a ton of character to the ride. The turnaround section may feel a little sketchy, but I didn't find it anywhere near as rough as other people have said. Overall, I think this ride is a must-do attraction when you go to Cedar Point. It may not be for everyone, but it's definitely worth a try. Maverick is a multi-launch roller coaster or a blitz coaster built by Intamin Rides. You can also find this coaster at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. Maverick has a height of 105 feet, a top speed of 70 miles per hour, and a length of 4,450 feet in 2 inversions. Maverick is probably one of the most balanced coasters out there when it comes to ride forces. You have a little bit of everything. You have positives on the tight turns, airtime with the crazy first drop and camelbacks, laterals on some of the turns and stangle dives, and hang time on the horseshoe roll inversions. This ride is also one of the most aggressive coasters out there, and it's glass smooth. The first drop is probably one of the best, if not the best in the world. The launch lift hill sends you flying down that 95-degree drop. There is one main downside with this ride, and that is the restraints. The over-the-shoulder restraints can be a bit of an annoyance, especially on the stangle dives. However, that's the only thing that I have against this ride. Overall, this is a must-try when you visit Cedar Point, and it is one of the best and most well-rounded roller coasters out there. Lightning Run is a Hyper GTX model manufactured by Chance Rides. You can find this coaster at Kentucky Kingdom in Louisville, Kentucky. The Lightning Run has a height of 100 feet, a top speed of 55 miles per hour, and a length of 2,500 feet. Lightning Run is like Maverick but better. Maverick may have a longer and more complete layout, but Lightning Run is more intense and has better restraints. If Lightning Run had over-the-shoulder restraints, it would be a spot under Maverick. Also, why aren't there more of these things? Seriously. Lightning Run has some of the most sustained and intense ejector out there, and it could compete with a lot of roller coasters built by RMC. If you get the chance, come out to Kentucky Kingdom and try this thing. Seriously, it's worth it. Number 4 is Orion, a giga coaster built by Bollinger & Mabillard, or B&M. You can find Orion at Kings Island in Mason, Ohio. Orion has a speed of 91 miles per hour and a length of 5,321 feet. However, the height of Orion is what makes the ride interesting. Technically, Orion is only 287 feet tall, but it has a 300-foot drop, making it a giga coaster. Many people would say that Orion is a hyper coaster, but I like to look at the pros and facts of this coaster, unlike all the Cedar Point fanboys. Orion is just a pure fun coaster. It doesn't have the most insane experience, but it is one of the most re-rideable coasters out there. The first drop is chock full of floater airtime, and there are many positive G-force moments and many sustained airtime moments. The ride, weirdly enough, has quite a rattle to it when you ride on the outside seat, but it doesn't beat the forces. The restraints are also elite because they are very comfortable and roomy. Orion is just an all-around pure fun coaster, and I'm not sure that any other giga coaster will be able to beat it for me. Remember how I said Lightning Run is worth the trip to Kentucky Kingdom alone? Well, you also have Storm Chaser. Storm Chaser is an RMC hybrid coaster conversion of the old Twisted Twins wooden coaster. It sits at a max height of 100 feet, has a top speed of 52 miles per hour, has a length of 2,744 feet, and has 2 inversions. Take everything I said about Lightning Run and apply it to this ride. Storm Chaser, however, is more intense, has more aggressive airtime, and has a more complete layout. Not only do you have the crazy intense airtime, but you also have 2 hang time filled inversions in the barrel roll down drop and the corked roll. And of course, the ride wouldn't be complete without the famed trick track double up and tip out corner. Overall, this ride is a step up from Lightning Run when it comes to intensity, and it's not for the faint of heart. However, I would still recommend coming to Kentucky Kingdom to ride this coaster, whether you like roller coasters or not. The runner-up of this list is going to be the Voyage, a massive gravity group wooden coaster, and when I say massive, I mean massive. You can find this monster of a wooden coaster at Holiday World in Santa Claus, Indiana. The Voyage stands at a height of 159 feet, has a top speed of 67 miles per hour, and has a length of 6,442 feet. The Voyage is a statistical monster, and it's also one of the most insane roller coasters on Earth. It's easily the most intense coaster on this list, so much that it's pretty much impossible to marathon. The Voyage may not be as aggressive as other coasters on this list, but it does have a decent amount of aggressiveness, and it sustains it for a long time. The ride is chock full of powerful laterals and airtime, and the ride just never ends. The best way I could describe this ride is a workout. It really takes your breath away. The ride also has an elite first drop, and it's remarkably smooth for how massive it is. It really speaks to the world-class maintenance of Holiday World. The Voyage is a one-of-a-kind coaster that you probably can't find anywhere else, and I encourage everyone to come out to Santa Claus to experience it at least once. However, I enjoy one coaster a little bit more, just for its enjoyableness. Taking the number 1 spot is none other than Steel Vengeance, a massive RMC hyper-hybrid coaster. You can find this amazing coaster at Cedar Point in Sandusky, Ohio. Steel Vengeance stands at a height of 205 feet, has a top speed of 74 miles per hour, a length of 5,740 feet, and 4 inversions. Steel Vengeance is pure airtime bliss. If airtime is your favorite force like mine, then this will probably be your favorite roller coaster. This ride has the most airtime of any roller coaster in the world. The drop is amazing, the 4 inversions are all insane and whippy, and the airtime is so good. This ride is also buttery smooth. One part of the ride I would like to point out is the top hat at the first drop. This is my favorite roller coaster element anywhere because it has a perfect balance of sustained ejector airtime and crazy laterals. Another crazy aspect is the fact that this ride goes through its own structure. You're getting aggressive ejector airtime and whippy inversions all while you're under the ride structure. It's hard to tell which way you're going. I could go on and on about how insane Steel Vengeance is, but that will come in another video. So that is the top 10 coasters that I've ridden. Every single coaster on this list is amazing in some way, so I encourage you viewers to go out and try every single one of these. If you agreed with any of my placements or even disagreed, please comment your thoughts down below. As always, please like, subscribe, and click that bell if you want to be notified for my uploads. I hope you enjoyed my video, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye everyone.